Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Get a Word In with me, your host, Josh Wagner, where we'll be connecting with friends from different locations and vocations, discussing yesterday, today, and beyond. And today, we're truly going beyond. We're actually going to the future. We're going tomorrow. We're connecting with Tokyo, which is 13 hours ahead of where I am right now. And real quick, before we get into it, we have a format. We have segments. We're going to be moving fast. So sit back, relax, snack, glass of wine, enjoy as I link up with my buddy Chace and see if you can get a word in with me. Chace, great to have you here.
Thank you, Josh. Pleasure's all mine. Thanks for having me.
It is wonderful to have you. I like to start off with a little dinner table introduction, how I would introduce you to my friends, and here's how it would go. That Chace is a creative director. He is a brand consultant. He is a writer. He is a producer. He has worked all throughout Asia Pacific on global brands such as Adidas, Reebok, Red Wing, Onitsuke Tiger, Park Hyatt, Canada Goose. He is the founder of Powered by Tokyo, which is a godsend for me when I spend time in Tokyo, really understanding the underbelly and the cultural individuals that make Tokyo unique the way it is. Quite frankly, Chace is a Tokyo sensei of mine, a guide of understanding Japan on my journeys there, and a partner in crime. And it's just great to have you joining me. Did I miss anything, bud?
No, you nailed it.
Nailed it. All right. So before we get into it, I do have to share with everybody the time I spent in almost like the last 2 years living in Japan. Chace didn't like what I called it, but I just had to do it. We would chase Tokyo together about once a week, and Chace is informed about the layers and layers of Tokyo. We would pick a place that neither of us knew about and just go explore and open every door. Chace, how many doors have you and I opened together for real?
Man, I lost count a long time ago. I'd say it's in the low thousands.
Low thousands. So is there a particular door that we opened together that's memorable to you? First one that pops in your head.
Right. I mean, without question, Rocky Top.
Yes, Rocky Top. What's Rocky Top?
Rocky Top is like all the best hidden gems in Tokyo or hidden.
Wait, should we tell people about this place? That's not the real name, y'all.
I think we should cut the recording right now and reminisce.
Damn.
Right.
They probably won't be able to find it anyway. It's in this location, this cool neighborhood.
It's in Ginza. For those who don't know, it's kind of the very, very, very bougie, rich area of Tokyo, and it's hidden deep inside of an old office building in this rickety old elevator. And get out of the elevator and you walk in this indescript door, and it's a complete time warp to 1932 Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's a bluegrass bar that is has some of the best bluegrass performances you'll see, all performed by middle-aged Japanese white-collar salarymen. I mean,
yeah. That gave us such a roar like that. Amazing. You just made me very happy. It's great to see your face. You made me feel right at home.
Yep, hurry back and get back. So I'm going to go.
All right, cool. All right, well, we start off with, to get a word in with me, I'm going to start with a rapid question session. You don't know any of these? Mm-hmm. Let's get it going, right? Rapid questions.
Right.
What does everyone on Earth have outside of Tokyo or Japan unless they're fresh out of the shower?
Dirty bums.
Yes, they have dirty bums. That's right. What is the last book you read and loved?
The War for China's Wallet.
What is your ultimate anime or manga?
Akira.
Beautiful. What is one thing that you've seen in Japan that you're like, why doesn't this exist everywhere else, and you can't say toilets?
I think being able to pay with any size bill and get change back for it.
Interesting. What is your favorite fashion item that you own?
Oh, my Lord. I have this beautiful vintage 1980s Dior jacket, military green trench coat, and I adore it.
Of course, it's a trench coat. Okay, what is the one Western item that you just can't get your hands on there with consistency that you long for?
Oh, easy. Old Spice deodorant.
Okay. What are 3 news sources that you check every day?
Oh, I mean, recently, WeOn, the Gravitas YouTube channel. I do the usual rounds of BBC, New York Times, To be honest, I've been kind of trying to distance myself from the news, but yeah, the
Perfect.
usuals.
All right. What is the last magazine that you opened?
Oh, good question. I'm kind of a magazine buff.
Why I asked, Chase.
I think it's a Grind magazine. It's a Japanese street culture magazine. Yeah.
Just don't add the ER because other people would think differently in the Western world.
Yeah.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Nirvana Unplugged. Where did you sleep last night? As you know very, very well, my friend.
I've heard it. 3 words. 3 words to describe Tokyo.
Immense, bottomless, ceilingless, wallless.
3 words to describe Japan.
Rigid. Dynamic.
Yeah. There are no words sometimes.
Yeah, there's no words. I mean, it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place. So Chase has lived in Japan for over 7 years. I'm curious, what are you still mind blown by after 7 years living in Japan?
The relentless retention of tradition and process.
Gotcha. All right. What was the last time you felt unsafe in Japan?
Never.
Exactly. What's the last good deed you did?
I think on a daily basis, I've made it a habit to every day while I eat lunch at home, I contact an old distant friend to check up on them.
Very nice. And what is your latest regret?
Oh, buying 6 boxes of protein bars, and they're disgusting.
Okay. That's your way of stocking up. Got it. All right. Now, from this point, thank you for answering those rapid questions. I'd like to get into location. This is really understanding what's happening outside your door. For me not being there, I have no idea. So this is my way of kind of like on the ground reporting. What is happening? Where are you? Your apartment, your location? Give me something that I don't know unless I was sitting next to you.
I'm currently seated in my apartment in Harajuku, Tokyo, Japan. As for those who don't know, I mean, Tokyo has quite of a global brand, but it's a shopping, fashion, retail district. So, and for those who don't know as well, Tokyo isn't really abiding by the global standard of isolation, to put it mildly. So my neighborhood is buzzing with shoppers and, lunchers and diners, Sunday walkers and tourists and stuff. So it's really surreal to observe the rest of the world, especially my friends in the US and Europe, and to see the condition that they're in, and to walk outside my apartment and to have it completely packed with people is a very bizarre experience. So I can look outside my window right now, even though it's raining, people are still walking around. So.
I mean, to put it in perspective, Chace lives in a place of Japan on Harajuku where you have Takashita Street, which is like one of the most famous streets where you have all of the outfits that you see where Japan is so on brand, right? So
right.
What for you is just like speaking to me and friends in the West, like when you look outside, you're like, how is this happening? Or what's going on? Like I heard that restaurants are open only till 7 p.m. now. Like, what's the logic in the difference? Like, why not full shutdown? Like, what's blowing you away?
Well, I mean, there's so many variables, and again, this could be a 20-minute conversation in itself, so I won't go too deep. But like, for one, the government just doesn't have the authority, in the Constitution to, really execute any strict measures.
Yeah.
The prime minister can declare this national emergency, but it's just this constant reiteration of, please stay home. It's all just kind of a strong suggestion, right?
A request.
And then with Japanese work culture, it's very face-to-face. It's very human relationship driven. They have a thing called the hanko, which everything is still paper. And down every kind of a line of authority, they have to stamp it with their personal stamp thing.
Yeah.
So I've heard stories of workers in offices that are actually working from home, but they have to go to the office, which means get on a rush hour train. And for Tokyo trains in rush hour are sardine cans, and they're basically petri dishes for this virus.
And
And
there's still sardine cans.
even though they're work from home, they're still obligated to go to the office to get paperwork stamped. So there's just so many reasons, and nobody's listening. I mean, even when the world was really being hit and really having this crackdown,
Yeah.
it was peak cherry blossom season, cherry blossom viewing. And
Sakura.
it's a cultural institution. And so people just couldn't shake that tradition. So they were still gathering in parks by the tens of thousands, sharing drinks, sharing food. And this was only a few weeks ago.
Do you feel safe going outside?
Well, I don't go outside, but I think if I would, I would take the appropriate measures. You know, I would exercise common sense, but obviously I wouldn't go to the restaurants. I wouldn't go to the bars, even though they're still open, which is just bizarre. I'll walk to the supermarket or the convenience store near my house. And in the evening, and there's a lot of pubs, a lot of darts bars scattered throughout, and I look in the window, and they're just packed full of people. So nobody knows what to think. It's a huge, massive clusterfuck here right now. It's just a lot of confusion. So I'm just locking myself in my apartment.
Well, listen, I think, you and I have had many conversations about this. You know, when people ask to describe Japan, for me, it's not a different country. It's truly a different planet, you know, and how things are ingested over there is fascinating in so many different ways. But thanks, man, for sharing that perspective. Let me ask you, if this wasn't happening in the world right now, and saying there's still a lot of normalcy, the past 4 or 5 weeks, where would you be today if this wasn't happening? Or what opportunities have you missed in business from a travel perspective if there was no COVID-19?
Well, you're not in Tokyo, so I'd probably doing the same thing, staying at home since I don't have my Chace partner. So
that's right, bud. Oh, I miss you, man.
Yeah. It's just not the same without you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just nothing's really much changed. That's the thing, you know. I mean, the only really thing is different is that no one's really going out at night, because there's kind of a running joke right now in Japan is that, and now the rest of the world because of the news is because of, like you mentioned, the bar closures. The governor of Tokyo said all restaurants and bars have to close at 8 p.m., but everyone's still obligated to go to work. You know. Yeah. So there's this joke that Corona only, you know, comes out at night and it takes naps during the day kind of thing. So it's all quite comical if it wasn't so fucked up, you know? So
I mean, at the same token, you know, Japan is literally just one of my favorite places on earth. And there is this other side that where like the normalcy does give you comfort, and it does, the lack of alarm and the safety of it. Like, you know, Japan is literally the safest place I've ever been on earth, and the consideration and the organization gives you this comfort. So it's an interesting thing to see that dynamic, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the whole country and the whole society is just one big, beautiful contradiction.
Yeah.
So, there's really no rhyme or reason, you know?
Well, I like to say that Nippon daisuki desu, right? Japan number one. Yeah, right? All right, so next segment we'll get into really digging into your expertise, your field. This section is called Yesterday, Today, and Beyond. I have a couple subject matters. Just in your mind, tell me what you think about it a year ago, what it means to you today, and where you see it going in the future. What do you think about marketing industry? You're a massive marketer. What's the marketing industry mean to you?
In terms of like how it was then and how it is now and how it's going to be in the future? Correct. Yeah, I mean that's a very loaded question, but it's also one that's kind of being processed day to day. I mean, in the past, obviously, it was just it was what it was. You know, it was fluid, it was global. Pop-up meetings and gatherings and big shootings and on location with 550 crew, you know.
Yeah.
And then now everything has been completely shut down. Everything's canceled. I mean, even if you look at Hollywood, you know, kind of off topic, but like they basically canceled 2020 in terms of releases and revenue. I mean, I sent you that link or that image of the box office revenue last week was like $5,000 nationwide. I mean, that's a figure that just we can't compute, you know? Yeah. So we're kind of seeing that just across all, you know, realms of production-based industry and work, especially advertising and marketing. Yeah. In terms of the future from a marketing and advertising perspective, I think, you know, as we all know, the advertising industry admittedly is very manipulative and it's very exploitive. So there's going to be this massive blitzkrieg big global movement of getting people back to normalcy. You know, every brand is going to bill themselves as a way to buy our brand, use our product in order to feel normal again. You know, whether
Mm.
it's pills, whether it's food and beverage, whether it's fabric softener, who knows? Everything is just going to be a massive push in order to use us, buy us, consume us, in order to feel a sense of normalcy again. So I think it's really important that we all kind of resist this, you know. So
Yeah, good perspective, man.
it's going to be a new normal, but it's going to be a lot different. We can all see it already happening. So
Gotcha. Awesome. All right, next one. Japanese work culture. What's your take?
I mean, granted, I've always made an effort to not really swim in the mainstream. I don't think I'm really cut out for the traditional Japanese work culture, which is extremely hierarchical, it's extremely rigid. But like I touched on earlier with kind of the Hanko stamps and the processes, Japan, now that everyone's gone to telework, as you know, with the Zoom and Skype calls and Skype meetings and whatnot, but Japan, it's important for everybody to understand that the biggest misconception about Japan is that it's not technologically advanced. It's actually in a 1988 perpetual loop. This is a country. I mean, don't let the touchscreen vending machines and the smart toilets do. It's still fax, it's still paper, it's still filing cabinets, it's still stamps, it's still all face to face. So Japan being, globally pressured in order to take these measures, but the corporate world and the business world is just not equipped and not prepared for this change, and it's causing massive stress and rifts inside the business communities here. So, in terms of the future, I mean, it might be kind of survival of the fittest for some of these companies, I think. But it's also like we say, in times of duress and stress, come new evolutions and new processes and new positive changes. I think Japan is really long overdue for some positive changes in its work culture. So staying positive about that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, one of the things, a misconception is, as you said, Japan to me is, the future meets the 16th century, right? Like there's so many things that people do just see robots in future, but there is such a deep rooted respect for history and, not changing things that already work. And, there are places in Asia that are far more technologically advanced than Japan from a societal basis. So seeing where it goes in the future is going to be incredibly interesting. I mean, you just said things like still use fax machine. I want change proper. Like they still use, the society uses most paper on earth, for per capita individual, but very interesting. Let's get into one more. Your choice. Do you want to talk about yesterday, today, and beyond, entertainment or food?
I'm really fascinated about the food supply chain in the restaurant industry, because no one really has any clear answers. I mean, I've seen interviews with like David Chang and all these, food and restaurant and hospitality influencers and gurus and whatnot.
Yeah.
And even them, they're just kind of got their hands in the air. Like, I don't fucking know. My restaurant might close. Everything's going to move to delivery. But all your SMEs, all your small to medium enterprises, your mom and pop shops, your local favorite pasta space, your favorite ribs, it's going to close. It's shut down. They're not going to recover. And that's really, really sad. So the foods, not only the supply chain, but just kind of the restaurant industry and the culture, the hotel, travel, hospitality. I mean, it's at a complete standstill. No one really knows where it's going to go. So, I mean, you know more than me, but this is something not really my expertise, but it's something that I'm really interested in because, especially in Tokyo, where our culinary landscape is made up of, 100%, 99% of the charm is these mom and pop, 90-year-old women that have been making yakitori since before World War II, and how are they going to survive? I mean, maybe they will because people are still going here, so who knows, right?
Yeah. I mean, fun fact, like Tokyo is the largest city on earth with over 37 million people. And I think per capita has the most restaurants of any city on earth, like by a long shot. And
there's 250,000 restaurants just in Tokyo proper.
Like that's mind-blowing statistics.
Yeah.
And if people who haven't visited Tokyo, realize there's a lot of these restaurants that literally just have 4 to 6 seats, and we're not just talking about a couple. We're talking about the majority of that 250,000 number, and understanding the tightness of living quarters. Most people eat out 6 days a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So most apartments don't even have a proper stove. It's a hot pot. It's something
I don't have an oven.
You don't even have an oven.
I've never had an oven.
I've been to your apartment, and you got a great one,
Yeah.
So it's really interesting from the food perspective, the fast casual, the approachability. I mean, and one thing is that what people don't know about Tokyo, you can eat phenomenally well there for a very, very reasonable price. So how that affects the mom and pop is really interesting.
Yeah. What do you think about the U.S. though? I mean, especially in New York and Miami, where a lot of these.
Bro, this is like the podcast that you and I need to start, because like we could rap about each of these topics for hours. From the United States perspective, like I'm a business owner, it's closed. I was supposed to open another one in 2 weeks, not happening. It's one of these moments in time where I think it's going to be a great evaluation of understanding the process of the business structure, how you can maximize it from all aspects, costs, integration, what you can do from the supply chain perspective, and also provide for your staff to give them security. This is a real evolutionary moment of looking at the business plan and how we can move forward. I think that there will be, luxury will always bounce back. People will have money, but I think from the scalability of it all, that middle ground is going to be a little tough, right? There's going to be a lot of fast, approachable, but that middle ground, like, I don't know, that $45 to $100 check average, in the beginning, when people are still rebounding, where are you going to spend your first dollars? Are you going to splurge? You're going to tighten the belt? There's a lot of things to be seen, but we can talk about this a lot more.
Right.
We can talk about this a lot more. But I want to get on to the next thing. We can get into, I call this next section Good Riddance, Give Me Some More, and Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire.
Yeah.
Right? So Good Riddance, tell me something the past couple of weeks you're getting rid of in your life entirely, or something out there that is just bothersome to you that you just don't like, and just say good riddance. Like let's throw some junk out.
Well, I think I can kind of twist it a bit. Cooking, I've never really made the effort to learn how to cook well and become skilled at it and invigorate some sort of passion inside myself for the preparation of food.
Yeah.
And having so much time to myself and making the effort to eat much more healthy, I've really, really, really made the effort to, be an adult about cooking finally in my life after 37 years. So, So
good riddance to those late night cheeseburgers.
Yeah, well, I still got those, That's, Uber Eats is still a thing, so that's good.
All right. So good riddance to what?
Lazy cooking laziness.
Okay. Good riddance, cooking laziness.
Yeah.
Give me some more as the next section. Guilty pleasure or a new habit you have that you want to hold on to? Guilty
pleasure.
Or a new habit. Like I do 150 push-ups in the morning now. I'm going to keep doing it.
A good habit. Yeah. So I think this is one that's quite common is walking.
Okay.
Like considered walking. Like I'll every morning I'll go outside. I'll go for a 45-minute walk around my neighborhood. I'll duck down alleys. As you know, Tokyo is very kind of the design, the infrastructure is very kind of nooks and crannies and little walkways and alleys. And these are things you take for granted because you're always kind of on your way somewhere. But when you have nowhere really to go in a city like Tokyo, it's just around every corner is a new discovery, and you realize that. Within a half-kilometer radius around my apartment, I'm like, there's some amazing shit here that I've never even thought could be possible. And
Tokyo, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's just endless layers. Even within 50 steps from my door, I'm discovering places. But it's kind of a pain because I'll see these little nook and cranny, tiny little cocktail bars, and I'm like, damn, but I can't go. So I've got to make a little mental note for sometime in the future to revisit all these places I'm discovering.
And you'll be adding them to your Powered by Tokyo. Last one, Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. There's a lot of people out there that are sharing that they're doing things. I don't believe you. Is there anything you're pretending to do that you're just not doing that you're willing to admit right now?
You mentioned this to me, and I'm like, it's not me. You know, I read every day. I train every morning, you know. And then I kind of thought about it. I looked around and I think it's more of a personal thing. You know, my terrace, my balcony is an absolute shambles. I've been talking about renovating my bathroom for like 2 years. Um, what else? Studying Japanese. You know, these are things that I've been telling myself that I need to do. I'm going to use my time wisely, which I feel I have, admittedly. But you know, I've been telling people about my bathroom renovation dreams. I've been showing the mock-ups and showing references and stuff, and
But it's not happening.
I haven't even, you know, lifted a yet. So
All
yeah,
right.
and
All right.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, something you just called yourself out on. So maybe, next time we check in, you tell me that those renderings are being put into action. All right.
Right.
We're going to be closing out right now, Chase. And I'd like to be able to end it by giving you the final word. And what is philosophy, message you want to share to impart some message to drive home? What is your final word with me?
You know, there's so many cliches we can just kind of repeat over and over, but for me, I think, you know, it's important. Obviously, everyone's saying that we have to reach out, we have to lend support, we have to connect with our communities, and we have to come together, you know, and that's all fine and dandy, and I adhere to that. But I think this is really opportunity to be selfish, you know. We're isolated, you know. I'm alone. I don't have a spouse. I don't have a significant other. I don't have children. So this is a really important time to use your time wisely. You know, I think it's important to, you know, to grow and try to adapt and kind of anticipate how the world's going to be on the other side. And if you feel you didn't fit into the way the world was before, this is your opportunity to reinvent. You know, whether it's learning a new skill or exercising self-actualization. It's not about what you want to do after this is done, but who you want to be. You know, so really strong proponent of a little bit of selfishness, taking care of yourself, because you know you can't take care of others until you take care of yourself. So just be a better person inside and out. Learn a new skill, read a book, get fit, come out of here, a six-pack and a bigger brain. I don't know. You know, just use the time wisely.
I will say, come high to that, my friend.
You know, I see these guys on TikTok and they're doing these like Phil Collins, like cupboard slapping things. I'm like, I guess because I don't experience boredom. I'm a very passionate person with a lot of interests. So I've never really been bored my whole life. So, and I'm already kind of a homebody. So I can't really relate or kind of, you know, understand this kind of idea of, you know, having nothing to do. And there's always a new thing you can learn. There's always a new pursuit you can go after. I don't know. So,
well, be selfish, right? I will say, come pie to that, right?
I got a water.
Got a water. Otsukare. Arigatou gozaimashita. I hope that next time you and I are going to be chasing is real soon, my friend. And I got nothing but love for you, Chase. And thank you for getting a word in with me. Be safe, be good, and gambate.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, man. Thanks so much, bro. I'll speak to you soon.